Hey, what's going on, actors? Mike Moreno here from the Actor CEO podcast. Thanks so much for joining me in this sneak peek of my interview with legendary director John Badham. You've seen his work in Saturday Night Fever, War Games, Short Circuit, so many wonderful films. In this clip, he shares his perspective on rehearsal with actors and what directors and actors can learn.
Most actors in the world love the idea of rehearsal.
Mhm.
You know, they're just not comfortable enough with the character, which may be brand new to them, you know, with the dialogue, with just getting to that place of relaxation where you can actually play the character.
Mm.
And there are some few people who are either so experienced or so comfortable in their body that they don't need much rehearsal and it bores them.
Mm.
Mel Gibson, Mel Gibson is somebody who, you know, he'll rehearse because he respects the other actors, uh, but he really doesn't need to do it, and so he'll just kind of lay back during rehearsal. Will scare a director to death because you think this guy's giving you nothing, but then as soon as you roll the camera, boom, there's a whole thing. Well, that's a very special art,
Mm.
you know, to do that. Everybody else seems to need the time, you know, the rehearsal, the practice, to be able to relax enough to give you an interesting performance. It's not so that they'll be stultified or not spontaneous.
Mm.
Uh, it's so that they're relaxed enough to become spontaneous.
Right.
So, um, so interesting opinions on it. Sidney Pollack had the idea that he didn't like to rehearse with all the actors at once. That he would do
Mm.
one-on-one rehearsals,
Mm.
sit down with Robert Redford over a weekend at Sundance, sit down with Barbara Streisand, you know, over a couple of days or a few meals, talk through the character.
Mhm.
He didn't want them meeting each other up until the day of shooting, but had discussed their characters in great detail.
Right.
And on the other hand, um, somebody like Francis Ford Coppola loved to rehearse with his whole cast, and he would get them all together, say on Apocalypse Now, where
Mhm.
he'd have them all in a room and actually literally swapping parts. Here, this time you read this character and you read this
Mm.
character,
Interesting.
and changing all stuff around. So it gets down at the end to there are many ways to rehearse, but you need to do it. And
Mm.
even when you're on a lightning fast schedule,
Right.
like say I am with Supernatural or Psych or a lot of the shows that I've done,
Mhm.
you still find there's time because the cameraman always takes a little bit of time.
Mhm.
Sound department always takes a little bit of time.
Mhm.
It's not like you rehearse and then boom, you're rolling.
Mhm.
So in that 15 or 20 minutes, it's amazing how much you can get done.
Yeah, you're
Uh,
totally right.
you, you know, instead, what do you usually see happen is they say, okay, the cameraman's got the set, he's going to light now, and everybody wanders off to check their email
Exactly.
and you know and scratch their nose and go to the bathroom and do anything but you know think more about what they're about to shoot.
Thank you so much for watching this clip from my interview with legendary director John Badham. I'm so excited to bring him to you guys. Subscribe to the podcast anywhere you find podcasts. That way you don't miss the episode when it drops. And of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That way you can check out more content like this and everything else we bring you over here on YouTube. I'll see you around.